Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I just thought I would come on here and do a very quick Instagram Live on here because today is obviously my birthday, as some of those of you who are in the WhatsApp groups know. And I thought that I wanted to speak a little bit about birthdays and special events, because I used to, when I was suffering from anxiety so badly, every single birthday that used to come along, I used to think, bloody hell, I'm still stuck with anxiety. That's what I used to think every single year when I was suffering from anxiety. I used to, every birthday come along and I'd think, God, this is another year, what to me felt like, oh, it's wasted, or it's not living to how I wanted to live. And I used to have many events like that. It could be holidays, it could be Christmas, it could be birthdays, it could be any of that stuff. And I used to always think that. And then I got to a point and I thought, well, wait a minute, what difference does this make? You know, how bad is this? Can I stand this? Okay, I'm anxious, this is not ideal, but I'm still living my life, and I can still be a part of this birthday, even though I don't feel there a lot of the time. I can still be part of it. And that was key to me, because for a long time before that, I was always constantly measuring inside my head with a sort of imaginary internal thermometer. How anxious am I? How much better could the day be? I used to think a lot about like Christmases and special trips like that. I used to think, if I wasn't anxious, this whole holiday wouldn't be ruined. And I remember especially around my sort of teenage years, where it just started to get bad, that I specifically used to think that regularly. I would think, God, I'm on this amazing trip. I should be enjoying myself. I'm on the beach. This should be lovely. But I wasn't. And it's when I stopped doing that and I started to think, well, so what? So what if this is like this? And how many other years am I going to have of holidays? How many other birthdays am I going to have? How many other dinners am I going to have? Not Christmases am I going to have? And anything like that. And I started thinking of it like that very much. It doesn't matter if you're really anxious and it's your birthday, it's your Christmas, it's your special holiday away. There will be more. You can still partake. You can still see things. I used to think all the time in the past, I used to always think, I'm in this situation, I can still see through my eyes what's going on and take in this experience, even if I feel like crap. And that was absolutely vital. Because then later in life, when I experienced some injuries, I've had some long-term injuries that I've got. I've a herniated disc in my neck that I spent a long time in a sort of chronic pain with after an injury that I had when I used to do a lot of weightlifting. And I realised, look, you're just going to have to live some days with this pain. You're going to have to put up with this. The same as some days you have to put up with really hot weather or really cold weather. It's part of life. And that's the exact same as anxiety. You've got to view it as a sort of internal weather that's there, and it's there at the moment, and you make the best with whatever situation you've got. Now I don't even know most of the time what's going on in my body, because I'm so focused on living in the moment and busy with different things, that I forget if I've got a back pain or something going on that's causing a problem. So it's very important to think about that. Stop trying to get this perfection sensation. We will have all kinds of health things all the time. You know, you might have an injury that comes and goes. So you at first think, I just want to get some time when I haven't got that pain. Just want to get some time where I've got some relief from that. And then what you're doing is, if it becomes chronic, then what are you going to do? How are you going to wait for that? Because that's not going to happen. So you've got to start learning to live and enjoying life as best you can with pain, with anxiety, with anything there. That is what it is about in life to moving ahead. You have to get used to putting up with discomfort. Because if you're trying to wait for everything to be comfortable, it's never going to happen. You're never going to get it. You're never going to do it comfortably. The moment I pretty much had started really recovering from OCD and it had gone, I had the injury in my back probably 2 months after. And then I had to have physio and chiropractic 3 times a week. I couldn't lift my head out of bed without pulling my head with my hair because of how heavy my head was when you have a neck injury, a serious neck injury. So You've got to, in that moment, I thought to myself, well, hey, I'm going to recover from this. I can't work out, which was my passion at the time, but I thought, you know what, things will get better. One day at a time, you have to go like that. And there's many circumstances like that in all our different lives and all different situations that we see. Some much more harder than others. But that one day at a time, life moves on, things go on, things happen, things change. And it's so important to think that. And do not set timelines on recovery. Every new year, people message me and they say, oh, it's new year, I'm getting recovered. My birthday's coming up in 6 months, I'll be recovered for that. Forget that crap. Focus on one day at a time. Focus on just working on changing your perspectives and living your life. That is key. All the anticipation, the waiting for a deadline, waiting for something to change, waiting for a moment, waiting for that is what causes all the struggle. That is what causes all of it. And I have to highlight it because otherwise it's so much of that. Oh, I wish I could just be the same how I felt before last year. You can't go back. Everybody who's got cancer would say, only yesterday I didn't have cancer diagnosis. Can't I go back? You can't. You've got to think about now, changing your perspective in this moment, not thinking going back, not thinking I need this external thing to change. It's about getting completely used to what is present right now, what you've got. And you can work to make change. If you hadn't had OCD, you wouldn't be getting this insight into life. You would be functioning in life in a much more sort of shallower, just not much depth in your life. I know because that's how I lived before this. This makes you dig deep. It makes you look into things. It makes you look into your situation and think, I've got to make changes. I've got to change my perspectives. I've got to change my insight into life. This is what is going to change and transform your life in a way that you would have never done had you not had this suffering and this chronic disorder to do that. If OCD had just been temporary, I wouldn't have put in the amount of effort I did because it would have gone. But because it was chronic and it morphed and it changed, I had to move and adjust myself around all of its things. And that's where the unconditional self and life acceptance comes in. The main principles from the Albert Ellis books, the founder of CBT, really to get that, I had to adopt it, and think to myself, this is my life. This problem has occurred. This fear has occurred. How am I going to overcome that? And it was very much that attitude to everything. Thinking, how am I going to become more fearless? How am I going to become not scared of things? How am I going to each day work on changing my perceptions and change my attitude so I'm not complaining, chronically anxious, constantly not wanting to do things, not wanting to move forward? I had to completely adapt that. And that is what brought me to this point today and how I am today and how I feel today. But I wouldn't have that without that. Now, that is not to say that in human lives, no matter how many fears you face or anything, you are going to face discomfort. You are going to face things in this life that are going to be difficult and are going to be challenging, and you didn't want them there. That is going to happen. You ain't going to avoid that. Things are going to happen unexpectedly. Health things are going to happen. You're going to have family maybe pass away when obviously there's never going to be a nice time. You're going to have jobs that you lose, divorces, anything that life can throw at us. These things can happen. We know they happen because we see them happen to other humans, and we can't say it's not going to happen to us. So it is so vital to think about, what am I going to do each day now moving forward? What am I going to do so that I give myself the best chances to get better? I give myself the best chances at living a life that I want to live. But most importantly, I learn to change my perspectives on the things that I can't change so that I stop making myself chronically suffer. Those were the key points that I took from the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. When I started really adopting that stoic attitude to life, I could see that it was me that was making myself disturbed in any situation. Any situation that came, it was me. It didn't matter even if someone had been deliberately rude to me or something really bad had happened to me unfairly or whatever. No, irrelevant. Whatever card life throws, it is our response to it that determines how we feel. We have that choice. As you will see in the Viktor Frankl Man's Search for Meaning book, he talks specifically about that in the most serious adversity you could face, being a Holocaust survivor, losing his family in there, living through that. How did he come through that? How did he change his perspectives in those terrible moments? Because he realized that he could take meaning from any situation. He could take something, whatever bad happens to me, anything. I'm always thinking, right, what can I learn from this? I'm going to get something from this, whatever it is. I'm always thinking, what is it I can take from that situation right now so that then I didn't suffer for nothing? And then the suffering part, I can change my perspective on to see that it was me where I was irrational that was keeping that feeling chronic and keeping that feeling locked on. So thank you very much for that nice comment there, Charlie Briggs, that saying about how this has helped you. This account, this is what it's all about. Everything that I've done in terms of for myself, I realized many, many years ago that it's this, what I'm talking about here specifically, these perspectives, that I wanted to really highlight to as many people as I could so that people didn't have to suffer with OCD, because I know what OCD is like. It feels completely crippling. It's locked on all the time. You've got chronic guilt. It makes you feel like shit. You feel like you can't go on. You feel like forget everything. How am I ever going to get out of this? Nobody understands. You go from person to person for trying to get help, and you feel lost and feel like you've got all your energy drained and thrown in physical symptoms all the time. And that's how I felt every bloody hour, every bloody day. But, and this relates to the question there that's just come in about derealization, it doesn't matter about feeling derealized. I couldn't give a damn if I had derealization today, my birthday, all day. I could have 60% anxiety, throw it up, turn it up. I'm still going to do everything that I need to do. I'm still going to, everything that I need to do will get done. Even if I feel tired, even if I feel shit, I know I will still get it done, and I know that I will still find great things in this experience. How do I know that? Because there's old people in their 90s that have gone blind in pain that are still laughing at their granddaughter's birthday party. We know that it's our perspective. It's always in there. There is someone complaining with a lot less than all of us right now. And that's what you've got to remember. Someone not complaining with a lot less. If we saw those people right next to us in that situation, we would think, what the hell are we complaining about? And it's always that. And I see it every day with all the people I work with. I work with people with really difficult life circumstances, people that are homeless, people that are paralyzed, people that have got end-stage cancer, young people in all these conditions, people that have just come out of prison and trying to rebuild a life and suffering from anxiety chronically as well. Every scenario you can imagine over the last decade I see. And what I realize in all those situations is whatever I am complaining about, whatever, no matter who, there is somebody else who's not. And that doesn't matter what the situation. You can look at young children, 5, 6 years old with the cancers, with all different cancers, and they are still smiling and they're still making the most of it. All right, you could say it's different, the consciousness at that age. Yes, but they still are, and you can go up. You can go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever age you want to say in that to that question, and you will find somebody who is still smiling, making the most of it. So that is the key. It is the perspective in all circumstances. It doesn't matter if you've cancelled your holiday, your holidays have been cancelled because of one reason. It doesn't matter if you've lost your job, you've got divorced, you've had OCD for 50 years. It doesn't make a difference. It's about your perspective in the now. Nothing in the past matters, what you've done, what you think you've done, anything. Nothing. There is nothing in this moment that is changing how you feel apart from your perspective of the situation. And that is what we're going to be talking a lot about on YouTube over the next couple of weeks. Perspectives, changing them, how to change them, how to look at different things, different scenarios, and learn to be grateful for the situations we've got, learning to get under our fears, learning to see the things that we're scared of the most and change our perspective on them so that we can see that it's an illusion. Fear is always an illusion. That is the key point. Fear is always an illusion, but we're so used to fearing it and seeing it that way that we view it as a sort of universal law, a rigid fact, where it certainly is not. And that's what this account is all about. Getting under fear, learning to see that things aren't as scary as we imagine them to be. Guys, I'll be back on here in the next couple of days. I will see you soon. Thanks a lot.